Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise if able and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem performed today by 12-year-old Chicago volleyball player Mila Bialk.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the brave and the home of the brave.
That's Mila Bialk.
The following is a presentation of CW Sports.
If you're one of the best beach volleyball players on the planet, you're competing on the AVP. And when you're competing on the AVP, you're chasing championship titles, chasing history, and new this year, chasing a spot in the AVP League. Here in the Windy City, 16 league spots have been awarded. Now it's all about who will go home as the Chicago Open champions. Will Taryn, Kloth, and Kristen Nuss win for a third year in a row? Will Ta.Crabb carry the family banner to another Chicago title? It's the AVP Chicago Open from the shores of Oak Street Beach. Don't just watch the game, feel the excitement. Years ago, the AVP established a beachhead here at Lake Michigan. The beach volleyball community in Illinois has thrived. The city has shown up and shown out for this 2024 Chicago Open. 3 days of world-class volleyball competition has led to this. Our final showdown. Stadium Court is rocking for this Labor Day beach party. Welcome to our final, the finale of the AVP Heritage Series, the Chicago Open. Take a look at our brackets and how we got here to the final. This was earlier today, the semi-final. Ta.Crabb, Taylor Sander displaying excellence in the third set to punch their ticket through. Benesh and Partain, they are undefeated, have dropped 0 sets on their journey to the final. But our women's final is first. We had those semis this morning. And we arrive with Taryn, Kloth, and Kristen Nuss, two-time defending champs, facing off with Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson. A rivalry renewed once again, not only from Huntington Beach in our first Heritage Series event, but in the Olympic Games in the knockout round. Welcome inside, everybody. Kevin Partain. It's my pleasure to be joined by Olympic gold medalist April Ross and Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn. April, thanks for being with us here. We're pumped for this Chicago final, and I know you're excited to watch Taryn and Kristen try and exact a little bit of revenge over the Canadians. How do they do it?
Yeah, there's a couple keys for TKN here in this match. I think they need to run some routes, get Kristen away from Brandie's block. They need to defend Brandie's on two. Taryn's got to get up to the net, get in Brandie's face, be ready for that on two, and they have to serve tough, get Canada out of system.
And Rich, the Olympic silver medalist, at one point lost 5 straight to the American side. How have they been able to take care of the Americans?
Well, Brandie Wilkerson, probably the most physical blocker in the whole entire world in beach volleyball. Can she impose her will? April alluded to some of the things that the girls from Louisiana are going to try to do to stifle that, but can Canada come out on top of that cat and mouse game at the net?
All right, we're looking forward to this final. It was the round of 16. It was the Canadians with the victory in Paris. That's a tough one to stomach, and it was a very tough turnaround for the American side to Manhattan Beach a week ago.
Yeah, I think they've rebounded really well. I think they're out for revenge in this match. Definitely, I know that they weren't happy with the way that they played at the Olympics versus Canada, so I'm sure they took some notes. They're going to implement them today and see if they can come out on top.
DJ Roche and Mark Sherman have the stadium crowd ready to go. Absolutely sold out here in downtown. Let's do this. Mark, bring the teams out. Let's get some champions established.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. This is Chicago. Every single year on Labor Day weekend, there is no better place in the world. You got the blue skies. You got the best athletes in the world. You got the best fans in the world, because this is Chicago. Yeah, let's go. Here we go. Come here. Check this out. Oh, what's up, ladies? It is so good to see you. We got to see each other all the way across the world. All of you got to watch these athletes in Paris take home a silver medal for their home country of Canada. Yes! And back on the sand for the first time since Paris, looking for the title for the 3rd time in a row in Chicago. And this might just be the time. Let's go. First up, she is the smiling assassin, ladies and gentlemen. You can't help but love her. She is Melissa Humana-Paredes. Way possible. She's got the swag. She goes up there with that left hand. It's like, oh my gosh, how did she do that? How did she get in the right place at the right time every single time? Ladies and gentlemen, a favorite everywhere she goes around the world. Give it up for Brandie Wilkerson! United States of America at the Olympic Games a few weeks ago. Oh, what are you guys laughing about? I want in. What are you laughing? You've been laughing the entire time. Ladies and gentlemen, they got some motivation. They got some motivation against Brandie and Mel. For one, they're going for back to back to back in Chicago. And this young lady, she's got some motivation as well. There is only one way that you get to eat that chocolate chip cookie that my mom made. It's waiting for you back in your room. Taryn, you gotta win this match. That's on you, that's all you. Ladies and gentlemen, she is the one, the only Taryn Kloth. You talk about motivation. Ladies and gentlemen, this young lady, when she's feeling it, when she sees something she wants, she goes out there and takes it. And she wants to go back to back to back. The best defender, ladies and gentlemen, in the backcourt. The incredible vision, the skill of Kristen Nuss.
Kloth and Nuss have an 8-5 all-time lead in what has become an intense rivalry over the last 3 years. I mentioned the 5 in a row won by Kloth and Nuss. That streak was ended in Huntington Beach. And the reversal completed again in the Olympic Games. It was 21-19, 21-18 the last time these two teams met in the first knockout round in Paris. An unfortunate first-round matchup. Two of the best teams. That could have been a semifinal, if not a final.
That was one of my picks. Both these teams were my picks for being on the podium in Paris. And yeah, Canada didn't have the best pool play results. Ended up in the lower part of the bracket, and unfortunately matched up with Taryn and Kristen earlier than expected.
And they meet here again, as expected, in a final. They'll work on Melissa Humana-Paredes first. And that will be a block.
Talked about the blocking of Brandie Wilkerson. It's a big part of the defense for Taryn and Kristen as well. Taryn's 6'4" at the net, very imposing.
When they played in that Heritage Series final, 6 blocks for Kloth, despite the loss. That would be huge in this one. And right away, she almost has 2. Humana-Paredes picked up by Nuss. Defender to defender. Nuss again with a nice read. 5'6", playing bigger.
Looks like both teams are coming out ready to play, both in rhythm, good setting, good ball control, feeling each other out. I look to both of the teams to get a little bit more aggressive down the stretch.
We know you like some aggressive serving, April Ross. Not afraid of a big jump serve. Lighting off a few points from the line. This will be a little more conservative approach from Kristen Nuss. Float serve, and they continue to work on Mel as they did the last time they met. Oh, cleverly done by Brandie Wilkerson. The lefty out of Lausanne, Switzerland, via Canada. First 2 sets to 21 as an ace serve is issued by Melissa Humana-Paredes. First 2 sets played to 21, win by 2. So potentially infinite score. We've seen it go into the 40s on occasion.
I think Alex and I set a record with Taryn and Kristen here a couple years ago. I think it was 41-39 in the first set.
That was incredible. A full double opportunity in a set. The third set, if needed, will be to 15. Again, win by 2. We've seen some of those sets go into the mid-20s. Kill for Melissa Humana-Paredes.
Already some tremendous defense from both sides. I like how you said it, April. Both teams came ready to go.
Each side with a Heritage Series victory this year and headed on to AVP League play in 2 weeks' time. Mel cannot find the sand in the deep line. And what is normally a good shot, Brandie Wilkerson catches the tape.
Yeah, this is interesting right now because both teams did a really good job preparing for the Olympics, peaking at the right time. Brandie and Mel obviously had a really successful Olympic Games, and we're still riding that peak. So this is super high level that you're getting to watch right now.
3-3, Taryn Kloth out of Creighton University for her indoor time. Went to LSU on the beach, undefeated alongside her now pro partner when they were in college. That ball stabbed up, poked a little too long.
Ball control. Ball control seems a little bit shaky at the moment for Taryn and Kristen. We saw this in the semifinal. They started a little bit slow. I think that's a little bit of their MO. They're going to get it together. They're going to tighten it up. it'll be interesting to see if they push this one to 3 again.
A look at the east side of our stadium. The flag's in full force. We have had good, steady wind all day long. It has affected plays. A look at the Canadians' road to this point. They have been through the winner's bracket, putting together victories in their 4 previous matches. A service down the middle of Brandie Wilkerson, who has a variety, Rich Lamborn, of different kinds of serve.
Yeah, we usually expect the heater in the jump serve variety coming from Brandie to score most of the points for her, but a well-placed float serve just as effective.
That ball clips the block and finds the sand. You'll see a lot more vertical attack. How different is it when you have a 5'6" player out there as a blocker when you've been facing someone who is 6 feet tall in a lot of other matches? This is diminutive 5'6".
Your strategy has to change a little bit. You have to look for that shorter player to maybe implement some more shots, some softer hits that are going to go over the block rather than coming up and hammering the ball down over the net, and which is a little bit more fun to block. As a blocker, you want to stuff those hard hits, and sometimes those shots are out of reach, so it can be a little bit more frustrating to play against a smaller blocker. You also have to look to get off the net, to pull and dig underhand or overhand off the net against shorter blockers.
Brandie and Mel did get to Kristen Nuss a little bit in their last meeting. So they have been serving Nuss to start. And that's a big part of beach volleyball strategy, Rich, who to serve when you're starting and then how to assess the match as it moves on.
Yeah, the adjustment, you know, everybody kind of comes in with a game plan, and how well do you adjust in real time? We saw that be a little bit of a hang-up for Taryn and Kristen's opponents in the semifinal. Kind of stayed on Kristen as she was in a heck of a groove offensively, and they were able to ride that to a victory in a spot here in the finals.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe Mel and Brandie served Taryn a good amount in Paris. So I'm curious to see down the stretch who they serve more.
Yeah, in the Heritage Series, they worked on Nuss, as they do again here, and failed to score. 7-6, tight play, first set.
How frequently do you revisit a game plan when you face the same opponent time after time? Do you kind of reset, you gauge the conditions here? Maybe that has an effect. Smaller player with swirly wind has a little bit more of a difficult time offensively, perhaps.
Definitely, you take everything into account. So
no difficulty there.
No, yeah, Kristen's having a great match so far offensively. But yeah, you check out the wind. We even watch in warm-ups, and we try to notice if one person looks like they're struggling more than the other. We'll make a decision based on that. We have our general game plan that it's kind of like a running tally. We keep notes in a journal, and we visit that before every matchup. But we're always looking for new advantages.
That ball rejected. Brandie Wilkerson turns around. She's quite quick at the net. This set will go to the middle of the court. Both defenders with some good reads early. Wilkerson becoming a factor in the airspace over the cable. Well, just 5'11".
We talked about that being a big part of the pattern of success for Canada, right? Sets up beautifully in this cross court. If we get a look at her positioning well inside Kristen Nuss, looking for that sharp cut shot, taking it away perfectly.
That's why you have to be careful setting just a basic up and down set against Brandie, because it lets her make those moves really effectively.
Difficult pass here. They'll leave it on top of the net. Generally, Brandie Wilkerson kills those. Instead, Mel runs one down. Left side. Too tight. And then put away. Notice the variety of contacts. Why so many punched knuckles for these balls here?
Well, it's illegal to touch the ball with your fingertips as you're attacking. So indoor, you're allowed to do that. On the beach, you have to kind of close your fist a little bit, and we call it a pokey. So you're poking it off your knuckles. It's a little intimidating to figure out at first, but once you get it, you can have a lot of control with that, and it can be a great offensive weapon.
April Ross, a pair of national championships in her time at USC. Seems like ages ago.
It was.
And then a medal of every color on the beach. Kristen Nuss with 7 kills, and Melissa Humana-Paredes with 6 here. The defenders looming large in the first part of our first set. Trying to go short.
You know what I'm going to say here.
Yeah, you were wincing. I saw your body language. What do you want?
I want her to throw that ball up confidently and go up and hit it as hard as she can. She's just worried about getting it in right now. And it's the beginning of a set, beginning of the match. You have a little freedom here to fill it out. Be aggressive with that serve.
Brandie Wilkerson will be aggressive this time with the float. Pop up to the net, up a little bit late. Got a hold of that one. Not on the second return with Kloth.
So I see Taryn, I see Kristen taking a lot of looks. She's trying to see what the defense is doing. And then she goes, you know, once she gets her eyes back to the ball, she goes to her comfortable cut shot, and Brandie's all over it. So I think she also needs to be a little bit more aggressive here, going up and getting the ball and imposing her will.
We have a technical timeout when the combined score is 21. We're almost there. Question is who will be leading. That ball is dug. It does stay in play. Humana-Paredes into the block. Check down the middle. This will be a difficult swing. Topped in for the winner.
Almost a loopy middle. Can you go jumbo to the middle?
I've seen it work plenty of times.
20 points on the board. We'll be to our technical timeout after this one. We started with 16 teams. On the women's side, we're down to 2. Here to Kloth. Back set, and it is a cut from Taryn Kloth. That takes us to the technical timeout. 11-10 the lead for the Canadian pair. A battle you can see on the sands of Chicago, as well as worldwide, coming out of the Olympic Games, their last meeting. A tightly contested first set in here in our women's final, first of 2 on the CW. Thanks for being with us from beautiful Oak Street Beach. So much yet to be decided. We look forward to more top flight play as first set continues in just a moment. The AVP Chicago Open is brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the AVP, and by Rainstorm Clean Energy, great flavor, zero sugar.
I got the horses in the back, horse stock is attacked, and it's made it black, got the bushes black and mad, riding on the horse, you can whip your Porsche, I've been in the valley, been up off that Porsche, ain't nobody feel me,
is over. We're doing 2 laps, everybody. Come on. Same page. 2 laps. Did Bo die again? Somebody is about to cramp. Look at those hamstrings. Those babies are locking up. Sven, what is wrong with you? What is happening? Are you drunk? A little bit? Wow. There we go, T-Roy. Bring it home, baby. Bring it home, T. Roy Jenkins. T. Roy Jenkins.
In the shadow of the John Hancock building sits the jewel of downtown Oak Street Beach, and the host to the 2024 Chicago Open, as it has been the host for so many years, going back to 1984, and the very first AVP event in the state of Illinois. We've been sold out and packed all weekend here on Stadium Court. Looking forward to this moment, the finals. We are halfway through our first set. Taryn Kloth and her partner Kristen Nuss. Their path to get here as well, undefeated, dropping a few sets. Rich, there have been moments throughout this tournament where they've opened the door with some mistakes.
Well, they really had to find another gear late against Simo and Van Winkle in that matchup. They were on the
couple of days ago.
Simo Van Winkle had an opportunity to close that out in the third set, but Kristen Nuss, Taryn Kloth, one of the things about them, if you don't take every opportunity to put them away, they will not relent.
Now we've had pretty stiff wind. It's kind of come in and been swirling through the stadium, but so far neither side has mattered. It's been 4-3 on each side. Nobody making a clear break. Here's an opportunity for the Canadians. That one poked over. And both sides, it seems defensively, April will try and on the dig push the ball on top of the cable.
Yeah, both defenders are going to want to dig that ball high enough for their partner to have an opportunity to hit the ball on two. It's been an effective strategy for both teams in matches before this.
So keep an eye on who wins those battles when the ball is 50-50 on top of the cable. Pulling dig on the redirect just too much.
That's definitely the right strategy by Brandie. You know, force Kristen to try and hit in these swirly, windy conditions. As a shorter player, it's going to be tougher for her. So you kind of play the odds. She got off the net in a great spot, just wasn't able to control it. And
somewhere in America, Jen Kessie jumps out of her chair and says, "I can help you with that."
One of the best pullers of all time. My ex-partner, Jen Kessie from the London Olympics.
Who became your coach and worked with Alex Kleiman, your partner, who was brand new to Beach at the time.
Who's coming to my wedding in 2 weeks.
Hey. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pre-congratulations.
Thanks.
What's the key to a good pull dig, do you think?
First is recognizing how far, like what the set looks like, how far the set's off the net. If it's wide, is the hitter going to be able to get their feet there in order to hit the ball hard? Then you want to stay. But if not, you got to get off. And then it's that quick first step. So it's a lot of footwork. So getting back far enough, but not too far, because you got to be able to move back forward if it's a short shot, or turn and go if it's a deep shot. So it's a lot of agility and decision making.
You're listening to April Ross, Olympic medalist, and we can just leave it at that. One of every color, alongside Rich Lamborn, Olympic gold medalist in 2008, longtime beach coach. I'm Kevin Barnett. Thanks for being with us here on the CW for this AVP Chicago Open final. The women are first, the men are second, taking the sand here in front of our capacity crowd.
To summarize what you said, April, a lot more difficult than they make it look.
It is. I could go on and on about the technique and how to be a good puller. It's one of the hardest things to do. You also have to have soft hands. Your hands have to be up the whole time. You can't have it ricochet off your palms the wrong way. It's really tough.
This week, CW Football Saturday rolls on as the ACC takes center stage. We head to Blacksburg as the high-flying Hokies welcome the Thundering Herd for a non-conference showdown. Marshall versus Virginia Tech this week at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, only on the CW. The Bean in Chicago, just south of our location, here at Oak Street Beach, on this picturesque coastline. That ball dug up, cannot be handled. It does hit the net and hits the antenna, which is considered out of bounds. The ball can go into the net anywhere inside of those antennas, but if it does contact either of them, it is considered to be out of play.
I have seen Kristen dig more of Brandie's on twos so far in this match than I have seen previously by any other defender. So I feel like she's neutralizing it a little bit. When she can get a little more control with it, it could be points for Taryn and Kristen.
16-13 lead. Chance to extend it here. Going to go backside. No, it'll be middle with nobody up. And there's that full contact.
Yeah, you can't open hand dig like that. It can come off your palms, but you can't with one hand lift it with your fingertips.
Largest lead of the match. Kloth and Nuss dropped the first set in our semifinal, came back to take the victory. That one got just a little bit too much air and it goes out the end line, 17-14. Neither team lighting the world on fire offensively here. 364 for Kloth and Nuss, but they are losing the overall. It is 308 for the Canadian side. Both defenders getting a lot of work. Wilkerson chips it. This will have to be put over. Better approach this time and better results for Brandie Wilkerson.
Interesting battle at the net between Brandie and Taryn, in that we've seen Brandie be able to go over most of the blocks she faces out there. Not the case with Taryn Kloth in front of her, so she's got to come up with a few different shots than maybe she's accustomed to.
She's doing really well. She's dialing in her super sharp cut shot more than I've seen before.
Third time in Chicago for the Canadian pair. They have been in the final in their previous two efforts, yet to get the victory. Looking good here in set one at the moment. Looking for 19. Nuss cannot get a third contact, and that will go to 19-15.
So Taryn and Kristen are in the right spot a lot of the time and just missing those touches. So it's a good sign going forward. I think as they get more in rhythm in this match, they'll make those plays and transition them for points.
Now Brandie and Mel do not have a coach in the box. They are here on their own this weekend. Touch there. This will have to be turned. Difficult chance coming overhead. Wilkerson exceptional on top of the net. Humana-Paredes gets a line call, but instead buries the angle. Set point upcoming, 20-15. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson up to the task.
That's a phenomenal dig from Nuss. Another great chase on that one from Mel. A little pop in transition, April.
Yeah, that was a great set by Brandie. You have to give kudos to the blocker for setting that high enough for Mel to get back up and hammer that ball.
9-5 run for the Canadians. Looking for a 10th point and a 1-set-to-none lead. That ball is out of bounds, but a net violation will negate it. 2016. Humana-Paredes hitting just 200. Do you keep it on her?
I think so.
Instead, it's a jump serve ace. Just do it that way.
Yeah.
That's easy.
They wanted to prove us wrong.
To the delight of April Ross, actually whacking the jump serve there.
Yeah. I still believe it could be dialed up a little bit more. I'm gonna, you know, stay here and continue to push that.
Forever a believer that there's more power available from the service line.
Well, that's how you end up with a medal in every Olympic Games you played in, that you're never happy with just an ace. It could be harder.
It's just so fun to go up there and hit that ball hard.
Timeout called. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson still in a powerful position here in set one.
I saw what
You
did last time.
mentioned Mel and Brandie not having a coach, but normally they do work with Marcio Ciccoli. They've had him for the year. He's an excellent coach. He was my coach in the Rio Olympic Games. So they have some excellent instruction. They also work with Dr. Michael Gervais, a sports psychologist, and I think he's helped them out a ton. He's a magician in my mind.
Mike Gervais lives about 2
Out
blocks
of
from me.
timeout, 17, serving 20.
He's a great guy, too.
Set
Shout out,
point, number 3.
That's a good way to
Mel
describe a
Brandie.
sports psychologist in general. I think a magician of the mind.
Yeah, I mean, you can't see his work necessarily,
Right.
but it's a huge factor in teams' success.
You can see the results. Ace last time. What about this time? Down the middle. Mel stabs it. Excellent lead. No one doesn't cry over. The margins are small, and sometimes it's a fractional width of a volleyball. 21-17. The first set ends in favor of Canada. They continue their 3-set winning streak over Kloth and Nuss, stretching back to the Olympic Games a few weeks ago. It's up to the Americans to respond to try and extend this to a 3rd set. The Canadians looking for their first title in Chicago. They're 1 set away.
Yeah, baby, that is right. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be happier to be right here, right now.
We're in Austin, Dallas, Texas, for San Diego. Get involved and have a reaction out here.
First set in the books here for our final Heritage Series event. We're about to put the very first league event in the books in 2 weeks' time in Los Angeles, September 14th, 15th. Plan the rest of your fall looking like summer as we go all over the United States with league play. Coming into this weekend, we did not know what teams were going to finally qualify through the Heritage Series, either with a victory or points. But we know now, and there's also a wild card team in there. April Russ, you're not going to join us full-time up here yet. Your playing days are not over.
Not yet. No, I wasn't able to play this weekend, but I wanted to be here and help out. But definitely looking forward to the league. Alex and I are going to make a big push. Who knows how long we'll play together, and we want to finish on a high note.
A ton of Olympic experience along with young up-and-coming squads on the women's side of AVP League. And the margins have gotten smaller and smaller between champions and also-rans. Sometimes, oh, it's just the midpoint of the ball. Set number one, 21-17. If you look at the stats, it seems even closer than that, Rich Lamborn. How does the second set go the other way?
Well, I think Taryn and Kristen can ramp up their serving a little bit. Seem like Mel and Brandie a little more comfortable than Taryn and Kristen would like them.
Both sides with a couple of chips right to the defenders. And add another one, except that ball is long, much like the beginning of the first set. Taryn and Kristen with a poke opportunity that goes a little bit far.
It's interesting because previous matches can have influence over future matches. And the trend of Mel and Brandie having won the last two, I feel like is impacting Kristen and Taryn's mentality right now. I feel like they're a little bit on their heels. They're a little tentative, where they just need to flip that switch and be super aggressive and take back the momentum.
I feel like that's been one of the interesting things. Rich and I talked about this throughout the weekend, that when you are new to the tour and you make a push, either the World Tour or here on the AVP, you make a push into the field, people don't know what to do with you. But then eventually they push back, and it's how you respond. I don't know that Taryn and Kristen have really gotten that massive pushback yet. With a whole bunch of teams that they certainly have via this group.
Yeah, it takes a lot of studying and dedication and film and adjustment and creativity and just trying different things. Like, you can't keep coming with the same game plan and play the same exact way that you did when it worked at the beginning.
And that'll be one of the very interesting things from a player perspective, but also, Rich, from a coaching perspective. When we get to league play in 2 weeks' time, you can take a deep dive on your opponent. You know who they are early. You know there aren't a ton of different opponents. It's going to change the scouting paradigm and prep paradigm quite a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Teams are going to come in ultimately prepared for who they're going to face. They're going to know ahead of time, like you said, and you're going to have one match a day. So you put all your eggs in that basket, and you kind of have these finite parameters in which you have to compete. So it'll be very interesting to see.
First set results for Kloth and Nuss. We saw them just moments ago. You have a chance to change that here. There's a beautifully efficient transition, 3-2.
That's the TK of
A little fire from Taryn, I like it.
How about the poise on that dig? Just the one-handed scoop and deliver.
You have to be so calm mentally to make that play. It's really impressive.
TKN in lead for the first time since the early stages of set one. Nuss hits that one hard right on the sideline.
This is exactly what I think they need to do. Both those last two attacks by Taryn and Kristen were hard hits. They need to come in, full speed, hit a couple balls, get Melissa to hold in the angle so it can't run the shots down so easily. This will open up the shots, allowing them to do the shots that they want to now.
Kloth and Nuss qualified for the league by winning Manhattan Beach 2 weeks ago. They knew they were already in.
I'm happy to find out I'm not crazy, because I often say that same thing. And when one of the game's greats backs it up, that makes me happy.
It's so easy when you feel like you know what your bread and butter is to get trapped in doing it too much, and then the other team is, you know, running down, and it's hard. You almost need an outside perspective to tell you, you know, you're shooting too much. It's not something you always realize. So I don't know if their coach told them, if, you know, they helped each other figure that out, but it's something they definitely need to do.
Trying to go vertical, finding Brandie Wilkerson in the way. Twice. Set available this time. Humana-Paredes. Kloth with another retreat. Did she get the touch? No, that ball is wide. But they're not realizing it.
I think that ball was in.
I think Brandie touched it. No?
There's the first contact.
I think Brandie called it. I think
Brandie just gave it? Okay, thank
Brandie called it on herself, which is an admirable thing to do.
No replay here. That ball clearly off the ring finger of the right hand by Brandie Wilkerson. A little sportsmanship, 4-4.
It's not her job, but it's nice that she did that.
That looked like a pretty clear touch. That was kind of an odd situation.
There's a good serve.
Right down the middle.
That is the toughest serve I've seen her go for yet today.
Kloth's second ace.
Nobody ever thinks of the volley karma that way, where Brandie was not rewarded for her sportsmanship.
One ace, one error.
It's a good ratio, right?
If you can keep it going all the time.
Yeah. It's 2 errors to 1 ace is a good ratio.
Still on the beach? Okay.
I believe so.
Indoor for the men.
Or has that changed?
19 errors to 1 ace apparently is acceptable now. Ace serve the other direction. Is that the karma returning?
Maybe that is a return of the karma. To answer your question, April, I would think it depends on your serve. If you've got a jump serve that you're going after very hard, that's probably an acceptable ratio. If you've got kind of a standing float serve, I don't know that you want 2 errors to every ace you get. Open for debate, perhaps.
And how big serving is a part of your game plan.
Right, right.
If you're April Ross, it's a big part of your game plan.
Back in the day when I first started, I was willing to get, I don't know, 5-6 misses to the ace. It worked out.
We talked about stats, so some of that is future projection too, right? And that becomes the thing. Well, when will you tolerate it? There has to be a time period where you're willing to tolerate it so you can learn that thing.
And it's all about when you want to peak, what tournaments you're prioritizing. We would label tournaments A, B, or C. So if we were going to a C tournament that wasn't a lot of points, but high competition still, we'd allow ourselves to work on some things, even if it meant losing a match here or there. But it paid off in the long run at those 8 tournaments and helped us learn and grow and get better.
Did you ever label opponents A, B, and C and then let them know about it?
No, no, I never underestimate an opponent. I don't care who I'm playing. I'm bringing my A game.
Joust, one from below by Kristen Nuss. Here come Kloth and Nuss. Second set, 3-point lead. Rich, I don't think I'd often want to be the shorter player in a joust, but it worked this time.
I would respectfully, of course, disagree with you. I think the lower player and the player with the momentum very oftentimes has the advantage there. Brandie's kind of going straight up and straight down. It's hard to generate a lot of strength in that sort of I don't know what you would call it, from that plane.
So
Yeah.
let's practice. Here we
And
go.
so
Renee.
Kristen's got all that
Serving
momentum
Renee.
going low into it, able to push that through.
I've heard it's the person who presses last. So even if both hands are on it, if Brandie's pushing hard first, but then Kristen pushes second, she's the one that's going to win.
We're just going to mimic the referee really quick.
But I love what Kristen has done for our sport, being out here and so
very nice,
successful
very nice. What
as
about,
such, as
block touch?
a shorter player than we
Representing
typically.
the shorties?
Yes, I mean, I get that question all the time from girls. You know, like, oh, I'm not that tall. Like, what should I do? Like, can I make it? And it's like, look, this is a great example. Like, it's all about skill and heart and work ethic, and you can do anything you set your mind to. Like, height is just a number.
I added to that excellence of mechanics. That's what really stands out for me with Kristen Nuss, particularly with her approach, her gather to jump. It looks the same every single time when she goes to maximize what she's doing at the net.
I would agree. It's extremely hard to read. Pair that with her great vision, and she can put the ball anywhere she wants it.
Where will she put it this time? Out of the timeout for the Canadian side. Pressure applied. Look at that. 15 digs, 10 kills already for Kristen Nuss. She's been everywhere. Looking for another dig to transition now. Ball set high. Nearly had another. And instead, point Canada. Olympic silver medal earned by Wilkerson and Humana-Paredes. They went on a tour afterwards. Not a lot of volleyball was played. There was a lot of celebration. It was super fun. Had a great time. Back to Toronto and a lot of media events, a lot of recognition for their accomplishment. They are happy to be back on the sand, but it has been an absolute whirlwind. Humana-Paredes, clean opportunity here, out at the pin, and will go straight down the line. 1 point earned back.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to get back up after the Olympics. You have waited 4 years, you put everything into it emotionally, physically, mentally, and you want to be able to celebrate it afterwards. And then it's, you know, back to work on the AVP. It takes a lot to get back into it.
There's more aggressive serving. Sometimes it takes 5 years, April.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Cut shot there. Mel off balance will find the antenna. That is not legal yet. Can't bank it off the antenna. No word on what will be decided.
Let's not ever make that legal.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you have a vote.
Yeah. My vote is no. Nay.
All right, the slunks-clad Taryn Kloth back to serve. Going with less aggression here. Humana-Paredes makes her pay, slicing it inside both blocker and defender.
And finding a little extra pace on that shot. Really nice angle from Mel.
Shot finds the silica.
Good communication you can hear from Taryn and Kristen as well. Kristen setting that ball immediately, giving her partner the cut call to let her know that sand's open.
Technical timeout upcoming. Will it be a lead of 3 or 1 for the American side? It'll be just 1. The Canadians, feeling the confidence, have gotten back a couple here to the midpoint of this second set. They won the first 21-17, and teams will head to the tents to reconvene, talk about strategy, and come out for what could be the last half of a set in this women's championship match. Our men are yet to come in this championship Sunday on the CW. Excellence already displayed, jousted at the net from the women's side. Taylor and Taylor will be in action next. You're going to see something never seen before, and that is a pair of shoes on the sand in a final. Yeah, we'll explain. the recreational epicenter of downtown Chicago, Oak Street Beach, on a positively picturesque Sunday. A little bit of extra wind, not really affecting play too badly as we conclude our AVP Heritage Series events in 2024 with the Chicago Open titles being awarded. Women's final happening now. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic champions April Ross and Rich Lambourne. Taryn Kloth and Kristen Nuss. Kloth, the taller blocker at 6'4", and the biggest spread on the AVP right there, 6'4" to 5'6", with a big and a little. Facing off with a Canadian pair who just picked up a silver medal in Paris. They will forever be Olympic medalists. Brandie Wilkerson there at 5'11", plays much bigger than 5'11", April.
Much bigger. When people say she's 5'11", it's hard to believe. She plays like she's at least 6'3".
Here she's going to jump it up and get aggressive. Almost to great effect. Instead, the partner can't quite run it down. And they will continue to trail here in this second set.
I think the key for Taryn and Kristen to keep this lead or extend it is to keep bringing the heat. They had those 2 hits that worked well both times, and I haven't seen them go back to it. They're shooting a lot, and it's working well enough, but they need to get a little bit more aggressive with their attacks.
Yeah, I think you're getting a feel for why April Ross has been so successful. Aggression in all circumstances is preferred.
Is that point coming across yet?
Yeah. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that mindset, though, and it's certainly worked very well for you, April.
You can't tip, roll, or jam your way to a championship.
I tipped once on match point in college, and I will never, ever do it again.
That ball is in from Kristen Nuss. Now you're going to see a lot more rolls from Kristen Nuss, but there's a difference between an aggressive roll and a passive roll, yes?
Yes, if you go up and get the ball and you have some energy going into the ball, you're attacking the shot a little bit versus letting your elbow drop and being like, oh, I hope it's going to the right spot. It's 2 very different things. That's an aggressive shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You also mentioned, you know, that Melissa has done a nice job of setting that shot up by hitting a lot of balls in that hard angle.
100%. And then she also saw, I believe she saw Kristen take a step towards the line. And so she changed the angle of her wrist and made that ball go into the angle instead.
Both defenders have been called on to play big, and they're doing just that as an on-2 opportunity finally goes. Nuss with 11 kills, 15 digs. Mel, 10 kills, 15 digs, and subsequently a closely contested match. See how aggressive Taryn Kloth stays from the line here. Hits that one. Wilkerson with the winner.
Points for the switch is 3-4.
Eighth time on the AVP tour for Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson. Been to the finals in 7 of 8. Kloth, nobody up. Retreating dig made. That set dealt with by Kloth. 15-13.
13.
Friday, September 20th, NASCAR is coming to the CW. Catch all the heart-pounding action as the best drivers in the business head to Bristol to see who will keep their playoff hopes alive and make a run for the championship. NASCAR Xfinity Racing from Bristol, Friday, September 20th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific, only on the CW. The CW is the place to be. NASCAR coming up, football, and right now, the best beach volleyballers on the planet. A meeting from the recently concluded Paris Olympic Games. That one hit with authority. There's your aggression.
Yeah, no, Melissa's been making a living off that hit right there. It's just right outside, right to Kristen's left, the defender's left arm. Not exactly where she's expecting it, and it's been a kill every single time. If I was Kristen, I would take maybe one little step to the sideline and take that away from Mel. It's so easy from up here.
It really
clear,
is.
Right? All right, Rich, you're trying to close this match out. You're coaching this Canadian pair, Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson. You get a timeout, or you get an opportunity to side switch. What are your words of wisdom right now?
Stay out of the net on the option plays, I think.
Excellent, excellent. That's in-depth stuff right there.
That is, yeah, that's high-level coaching. It usually costs thousands of dollars, but
if not hundreds.
No, I think both of these teams are really playing at a high level, as is often the case when you get, you know, the #2 versus the #4 seed in the world,
right?
No less. It just becomes a matter of execution.
So then you have to focus on one particular skill, something you can execute. We've heard April say she wants to hit the ball aggressively from the service line, but that may not fit everybody.
I think it does fit both of these teams, though. Okay. Taryn and Brandie, we talked about their blocking, but both of them have big jump serves, and they need to both go after it to the benefit of their teams.
3 aces so far. Humana-Paredes with 2. She fires that one down the middle. A sliding Nuss, then chops underneath the block. 12 kill for Nuss. And everyone has about even number of kills, even though I haven't seen that much on-2 opportunity here.
I was going to say that there hasn't been a lot of deliberate on-2s inside out.
Not as many as I would expect.
Yeah, in transition, you see it from Brandie, but off of serve receive, not so much in this match.
What a set by Brandie Wilkerson on there. That ball will be just long. Wilkerson follows it all the way.
That's bold to let that go. She must have been sure it was out.
18-16.
Your heart kind of gets stuck in your chest when you're letting that ball go.
Can they make a movement behind the service of Wilkerson? Toss way out in front, tries to chip it in, and that's a miss off that toss.
Yeah, your toss is everything on a jump serve. Got to practice that toss just as much as you practice hitting it.
A rally performance for Kloth and Nuss. No word if there was a rally monkey around or an inside-out visor or anything like that, but they did come back and win in the semifinal. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson, when they win the first set, they tend to be lethal, but it's looking like they're going to have to take a third set in order to win the overall.
I think it's a little early to call that. We got to wait and see here.
Okay, I like your edge. I like your optimism.
And maybe that's why there hasn't been a lot of on-2 and serve receive.
Skyball set. Kloth, clean opportunity, nobody up. Right down the middle there. 20. How about now? Is it over now?
It's not over now.
Okay, I just
checked. You get in trouble when you start thinking like that.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Kev starts hearing fat ladies singing off in the distance a little early around here.
Like a European tennis player. Set point. Taryn going for it. Cannot get it there. A deftly touched cut shot from Brandie Wilkerson.
I think only Brandie and Alex Kleinman can cut the ball that sharp from the right side.
Now watch some of the angles that Alex hits and just go, thank goodness I'm not on the sand. I'm standing.
Thank goodness she's on my side of the net.
Yeah,
that's all I'll
for
say.
Sure. All right, set point number 2. Mel's going to get this one. And the redirect is going to find the cable. And in similar fashion, set 1 and set 2 go into the books. And there will be maximum volleyball entertainment for the sold-out crowd here in Chicago. Identical scores, similar endings. Does any of that play into the first 5 points of the third set? We will see. We're going to play to 15. One team will win by 2, and one team will take home a Chicago Open title. Will it be Taryn, Kloth, and Kristen Nuss for the 3rd consecutive time, or will it be 3 straight victories by the Canadians over that American side? Much more to come here at the CW. The AVP Chicago Open is brought to you by Wilson, the official ball of the AVP. If you're going to have the best players in the world meet in a championship final, why not play 3 sets on our Rocket Stadium court here at Oak Street Beach? Welcome back, Kevin Barnett alongside April Ross and Rich Lamborn, both Olympic champions. You're looking at Kloth and Nuss, recent Olympians, 23-8, 3-set matches. They've played a lot of 3-set matches on the AVP. On the other side, the Canadians, not quite as many, 10-5 in those matches. And in fact, this is the 4th time in 5 finals between these two teams that it's gone to a 3rd set. 3-1, the record coming in. Kloth and Nuss with the advantage in final circumstances. There's a look at the wind coming off the lake, headed in a southwesterly direction. strong waves threatening our TV truck. Our crew persevering for your enjoyment here on the CW. Let's play the third set to 15. One team's going to win by 2. One team is going to take home the title and the paychecks. Kristen Nuss on the American side will get us started. Her partner Taryn Kloth, 6'4", at the net. Melissa Humana-Paredes, second-generation player. Mother a dancer, father a volleyballer. No question about her footwork capability. Brandie Wilkerson, her partner, giving the signal at the net. She will block. But she won't get a hold of this one. Kristen Nuss, at 5'6", continues to play much larger than that height. Her overall hitting percentage in this match, 323.
It's going up. In the first set, Brandie was shutting that down, and Kristen has adjusted and made it a little bit sharper outside of Brandie's reach.
Taryn Kloth's gotten aggressive here from the line. This one clips the tape. Cut shot called and executed by Wilkerson.
That was interesting because that was a pretty obvious move on defense by Taryn and Kristen. Kristen was over in the angle very early, and Kristen was in the line pretty early, and Brandie has good vision, so I don't know what they were thinking there.
There hasn't been a clear good side. Actually, the near side the Americans are on right now, 42 points scored there, 34 on the other side through 2 sets. That ball blocked and then mishandled. We are, of course, in the Windy City, but Rich, you know why this is called the Windy City?
My guess would be very pedestrian. I don't know. Was there a... it's not because one of the former mayors had flatulence issue.
Close enough, though. Politicians, the wind coming out of the politicians' mouths. Here in the Windy City. It was coined by a Cincinnati newspaper after a tornado in town, but with a double meaning.
Gotcha. All right.
Side switches will come on 5 in this third set. Best 2 of 3. And we play to 15. Been a lot of different scoring systems over the years in beach volleyball and in volleyball in general. This has been the standard for going on 20 or so here on the beach. Taryn Kloth will block here. She has just one big stuff, but she has channeled a lot to her defender and slowed the ball down frequently. There she channels it right through, but it cannot be handled by Nuss.
That's a really smart hit by Mel. She's been attacking the sideline, the sideline, the sideline, and that time she turned it back to the middle. She had Kristen leaning to the line, and she couldn't shift her weight back fast enough to dig that down the middle.
Yeah, that was a great look on the replay, too. You could see her take that little lean to the left.
Volleyball's a game of inches.
And that's about 4 inches out right there. Rich, how different is the perspective from a coach sitting in the box on the sideline of this event? What are you able to see better that maybe the players don't pick up on?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. That isn't a great vantage point oftentimes to watch this game, but I mean, you know your team so well. I think you can just kind of pick up on how they're moving, if they're kind of executing the things that you've talked about well, or if they need to make little upgrades.
And how do you spend your time? The opponent or your side?
Well, I was always my side, our side of the net guy, because, you know, again, going back to what you can control versus what you can't.
Right.
Often, I mean, you want to apply pressure and try and manipulate what your opponent can do to you, but you can't necessarily fully control it. You can, to a certain extent, control what you're doing on your side, so that's where we always started.
And so, April, I'd wonder that from a player's perspective. Some players are different, some approaches are different. How do you, coming into a match, think about a match? How much thought is on what's going on your side? How much thought is what you're trying to dictate to the other side?
I always start with our side. You know, I think that you have to have your side right to win any match. And then, so it's probably 70-30, 30% the other team, 70% our side. I try to take a couple big nuggets about what the other teams might do, but really focus on what I'm doing on my side.
Okay, something actionable. That ball was almost actionable by Wilkerson. Could have been looking at 7-3. Instead, it's a 6-4 side change on this excellent dig and good offensive opportunity.
Yeah, you don't see Brandie do that too often. That's a big break for Taryn and Kristen.
So Taryn and Kristen will head to the side where more points have been scored, but we think the wind is at their back. Talked to Ta.Crabb after the last match. He said that the far side, where the Canadians are right now, is the good side.
Got some USA chants happening.
Like the rivalry. Nuss with the dig. Tries to roll it short. Battle at the net, won by Brandie.
Tremendous work both ways. You can see Kristen in a great spot to dig that hard driven ball in the angle again from Mel. Mel made a good dig in return on that short one off the tape. Not easy to do when it changes direction off the top of the net.
Both these defenders are so mobile. It's so hard to be that mobile in the sand.
Mel with the pokey. Can she return the offense? No, just wide right. Couple of missed chances for that pair here in the midpoint of set 3.
Yeah, Canada's kind of allowing Taryn and Kristen to stay in this match right now.
It's very Canadian of them. Be friendly in that manner.
Very accommodating people.
They are very nice people.
Yeah, but kind of some mental asterisks there. Those last couple plays, relatively easy scoring opportunities. You can't let those get away too frequently.
Wilkerson on the high attack. Puts it straight to the sand. Might want to not serve Brandie Wilkerson at the moment.
I have noticed that, though, when Taryn dials up her jump serve, it's almost by default going to her left and going to Brandie, which is maybe why she was not hitting it as hard and trying to control it, get it to go to Mel a little bit more before.
Brandie hitting just shy of 400, and that number's been rising lately. She'll go float serve. Ball mishandled, poked across the net. Tough chance for Brandie. Couldn't get a clean shot. Better opportunity here, although still challenging. She gets it right down the middle, and there is execution to 9.
Piece of that you won't see on a stat sheet necessarily is that set from Melissa Humana-Paredes from deep. Here's a look at the joust.
I love the quick reactions there to keep the ball alive.
I always tell people setting on the beach is the linchpin that makes a team great. If you can't set balls that are uncomfortable or out of system and get your hitter back up to the net, it's going to be really tough.
How was Alex's setting at the very start?
It was a little rough.
Okay, you had a lot of partnership options at that time. That was a building partnership when you guys first commenced playing.
No, we spent ample amounts of time, both of us, setting, and still do.
A little bit of tempo this time.
What a great move.
Yeah, Wilkerson's so springy. Can she get a hold of another one? She'll stay on the line. That'll be over the top. Staying in touch. Kloth and Nuss, but maybe running out of time here. 9-6.
Alex pulls the linchpin. You throw the grenade. Is that how it works?
Exactly. Yeah. I like that analogy. Talking a little bit of strategy over there on the American side. We'll see what they come up with.
They're taking their time. DJ Roche is keeping Stadium Court rocking here with the bass beats. Back to Humana-Paredes. Trying to chip the line. Can't get there. Nuss continues. Exceptional reads. This one will have to go. And it just does.
It's a heartbreaker for the Americans, but great playing by Mel and Brandie.
The 5th woman in this match has been the cable through the top of the net.
Right.
It has.
It's so hard defensively to gauge if you're Taryn and Kristen whether Brandie, you can't really crash the net if Brandie's able to get her knuckles on it and poke it deep. So you're just kind of at the mercy of your opponents there.
And if you charge too early, you're going to get hit in the face, and nobody wants that.
Now going a little bit long, kicking some sand up, measuring the wind. There's the option, Doug. They need this one. And they got it.
I have never seen anyone dig Brandie's onto as much as Kristen is on it right now.
Why do you think that is? Why is she so dialed in?
I mean, because she's Kristen Nuss. I don't know. She has some innate ability to read hitters. That's why she's so good on defense. But I have a hard time reading Brandie. I think she gets up there, her arm looks the same. Maybe there's a tell that Kristen knows and I don't.
Yeah, that's what I wonder when you say reading hitters. What are you keying in on with a hitter to know where you should be located?
Usually you're focused on the hitter's arm if it's facing one way or another, and then the ball relative to their arm, their hitting arm. So is it inside? Are they going to have to go with it towards the ball? Or is it over their opposing shoulder and they're going to bring it across their body a little bit more? So there are little things. Nothing is going to give it away 100%. You're kind of hedging your bet one way or another, but there are little tells. And some defenders like Ta.Crabb and Kristen Nuss are just better at it than everybody else.
Taryn, Kloth, Kristen Nuss looking for their 3rd straight victory here in Chicago. You might recognize the voice of the woman who won in 21 and 19, April Ross, joining us here in the booth. April and Alex will be back in action in AVP League play in 2 weeks' time. We have our championships to decide. I'm Kevin Barnett, Rich Lamborn also here, Olympic gold medalist and longtime beach coach. As we come out of another timeout on the sand. 10-8. Canada's used all of their timeouts throughout this match. TKN have not been forced into that just yet. A couple more points by Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson, though, might change that. They can side their way out if they can consistently put the ball away here and serve receive. There's one.
Melissa out of the timeout, 11-8.
So Melissa will do that on purpose. So she either likes to run outside, give herself a lot of angle to hit, or she'll come in the middle like she just did, open up that line shot, because it makes Kristen, the defender on the other side, choose one half of the court or the other, and that line shot is just open for her.
Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson hitting .438 in this set to .231 for Kloth and Nuss, leading on the scoreboard. Remember, we're playing to 15, win by 2. Cut shot, good. But that's not going to be enough. Have to score some reels here.
As you mentioned, April, Kristen's made a really nice adjustment on that cut shot, because Brandie, even on this, you can see she's big in that cross court. Kristen just so precise in her execution.
I think that's cut shot's gone down every single time in the last 2 sets.
How would you counteract it?
I would tell Brandie maybe to, wait and either take a step over and swat it or pull super late into that cut.
There's a line shot, and they get even closer, 3 points away from another title. It would be their 2nd of this year on the AVP Heritage Series, and 2nd over Kloth and Nuss. It's a rematch of our Huntington Beach final back in May. It would also be 3 in a row for the Canadians over the Americans. They have their number. Oh, they let that one go. Mel thought it might be out. Instead, it is in. 10-12.
It's a great hit by Kristen. Would like to see more of that.
There's going to be a tough chance either way, but that's kind of one of the dividends that aggression pays right there. Makes it so difficult on a defender, even in a good position.
Kloth's been serving well from this side, but not this time. No margin left for errors now. That ball far too deep.
That is out of bounds.
So looking to get to a match ball opportunity off of this side out, or Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson.
I'd like to see Taryn look to pull on this. She's had a lot of success so far pulling and digging the ball.
Nuss over the 20 dig mark. She needs another. Can't get it here. So match point is upon us. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson. They won 15-13 in Huntington Beach, scoring just 1 more point than their opponent for the entire match. Here they have a little bit of margin to play with to close this one out for their 2nd title of 2024. Mel with the easy dig. For the win. No. Not yet. Kloth and Nuss score it. Still 2 championship opportunities here.
Championship point number 2.
Kloth and Nuss have to convert 2 more. Paredes rejected. 1 to go for the Americans. You said it's never over.
It's never over. I think that's the first time that swap block has gone down for Taryn in this match. She's blocked a couple of Mel's shots, but they've been covered every time. So that was a crucial time to have it go down.
3rd chance. No timeouts. Scoop on 2. Finds the corner. Finally, it's 15-13. The exact same 3rd set score as Huntington Beach. Chicago is under Canadian Queen rule.
That was a great time to get a kill on 2. Big swing by Brandie.
Interesting, that wasn't as big a part as we're accustomed to seeing in their offense in this match, but what a time to weave it in there.
To have that, her on-twos be dug so often, and then to do that on match point, it's a testament to being a big-time player.
Yeah, interestingly enough, a turn by the blocker on 2 ended the 1st set in the net, the 2nd set in the net, 3rd set winner to the corner for Mel and Brandie, who get to spray the champagne. A look back at our closely contested first 2 sets, which had identical scores in reverse directions, April.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just shows you how closely these teams are matched and the level of the play.
Yeah, and Rich, we talked throughout this match about how small the margins are between top shelf teams in the world.
Yeah, absolutely, and they both showed that again. Just 1 real point difference in that 3rd set determined the winner.
So for the 2nd time in the AVP Heritage Series in 2024, we have Canadian champions Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson. They're with Mark Sherman right now.
And now in your 3rd straight final in Chicago, you got the job done. Brandie, how's it feel to be back on the sand in Chicago?
This is everything we could have hoped for. We absolutely love this tournament. We love this tour. That's why we came right back. And to win here like we've been wanting to feels incredible. We've pushed through a lot of physical, emotional, mental stuff and played an incredible team yet again. So we're very proud of ourselves.
Yeah, and pushing through those not only challenges, but also the high positive emotions coming after an incredible performance at the Olympics. How do you dial it back on the court, Mel?
It was really hard. It took every little bit of us. I don't know if you could tell. We are completely depleted, but it feels so good. We left everything, literally everything on that court. I hope you appreciated it at home and in the stands because, yeah, I mean, it's really hard to do that. And we had to come out here. We had to play in Chicago. We had to do this for AVP and for each other. And we wanted this one. You know, we've been in the finals 3 years in a row, so this was the one. So I have nothing left in me. So this is so worth it.
Well, we absolutely appreciate it. And we know, yes, absolutely, go for it. You've got nothing left in you, but you'll need to replenish pretty soon. The league is coming up, Brandie. Going into the first ever AVP league, what is the mindset? What is that shift now getting into the league? I know it's hard to do. You just won, but I got to focus on that for a minute.
I mean, we had the pleasure of focusing on the league pretty early, getting our spot in, secured. So we've had our mindset on this. We know it's going to be a faster game. We know we're going to have a tandem men's team. So we're excited and we're ready for everything. I think that's why we came out, just to feel every high and low and just be prepared.
Well, Brandie, Mel, your highs are very high right now, and it's very fun to witness, so congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Brandie have raised their level in 2024, and we're about to raise the net and head off to the men's championship. Women's championship secured in fine fashion, 15-13. Next, we'll lace them up and play on the men's side. America's middle beach volleyball capital, Chicago, the Windy City, Buckingham Fountain, so many beautiful sights in this incredible space. And here, Oak Street Beach, our stadium court, has been our home for 3 days of action. Our women's champions are in the books. Our men are about to take the sand for the 2024 Chicago Open final match. Andy Benesh and Miles Partain taking on Ta.Crabb and Taylor Sander, both victorious earlier today in our semifinals. This is our final of 6 matches in our sold-out, packed, rockin' stadium. Welcome into our broadcast location. Once again, Kevin Barnett joined by Olympic champions April Ross and Rich Lambourne. April, a team coming off the Olympics right now. Andy Benesh, Miles Partain, looking for a victory on the AVP. How do they get it done in this one?
I think it's going to come down to their passing and their serving in this match. They're going to have to pass the tough jump serves of Taylor Sander and Ta.Crabb enough so that they can jump set and run their systematic offense. And they're going to have to serve tough, get the other team out of system.
Okay, Coach Rich Lambourne, you have coached this pair that is going to be on the other side of the sand.
Well, yeah, they have a lot of firepower, as April mentioned, from the end line. Taylor Sander with a rocket of an arm, no matter where he's hitting the ball from. They're going to have to work on neutralizing the option offense of Benesh and Partain. However, we saw Kristen Nuss do a great job doing that to the Canadians in the women's final. Can T-Crabs do it to Andy and Miles out there on the sand?
Yeah, big question with T-Crabs all weekend. You've been on social. You have seen it from the moment it started. He's been wearing shoes on the sand due to a foot issue and a swollen foot. But, Rich, it really hasn't slowed him down.
Yeah, it looks like he walks a little bit funny, but once the ball's in the air, he's as speedy as ever.
So, April, you joined the sand. Did you ever think about keeping the shoes on?
Never. I still think he lost a bet. I'm not buying the medical reason.
You want to go back and review the fantasy football records from last year?
I do, yes.
Yeah, most definitely. T-Crabs has been in those all week, but to no bad effect. The Taylors looking for another title on the AVP against the Olympic representatives, the youngsters. Who comes out on top? That match is up next. 59 matches in the book. You're welcome and thank you, Chicago. You have shown up big. We have one to go here on Stadium Court. One last time, let's have Mark Sherman bring our men out and get started on this championship match.
One to go. One more match, ladies and gentlemen. We got Taylor, Andy, and Miles ready to light this up one more time. Are you with me? Yes, let's do it. Here we go. Come on in. Come on in. First up, the high-flying, hard-hitting indoor Olympian and now star on the beach out of Corona, California. Give it up for Taylor Sander. And his partner from Honolulu, Hawaii. Incredible back there. And ladies and gentlemen, he's wearing shoes. He's doing it all with shoes on. I mean, what's all that about? I don't know. But for some reason, I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, he is Ta.Crabb. And their opponents all the way through the winner's bracket. First up, the big fella, the blocker, standing at 6 feet 11 inches tall. I don't know how tall are you, 10 inches, 6 feet 9, 7 feet 2. You look way taller than that. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it for Andy Benesh. Yes, Andy. And his partner. Listen, I don't care how tall he is. I don't care about any of that. All I care about is he does things that I have seen nobody else in the world do, everybody. Out of Pacific Palisades, the future of volleyball. He is Miles Partain.
Kevin Barnett alongside the Olympic champions April Ross and Rich Lambourne settling into our crow's nest view, ready for this one on Stadium. Our 60th match taking shape. You heard the players come out. Second meeting all time between these pairs. 21-16, 27-25. Benesh and Partain came out on top in Manhattan Beach 2 weeks ago. Andy Benesh just one block, but was unstoppable offensively, hitting almost 800. And uncharacteristically, Ta.Crabb in that second set, a deuce set loss overtime. He was 4 of 15 offensively. That is unusual.
It might be the shoes.
It might be the shoes. My main man, Money, about to get a swing here.
Yeah, you can see him hobble a little bit after he lands, but that certainly didn't slow down the pace on that cross-court swing.
No, not affecting his right arm. Ta.Crabb, a foot issue, swollen foot all weekend, even Thursday night, limping. Came out in shoes. No word on whether Puma or Nike or Adidas has picked him up with some sort of sand tire look. Best thing is just not let the ball get past the net. Taylor Sander.
It's an effective strategy, I've heard. I also heard they're calling it his shoe game. It's the shoe game, like Michael Jordan's flu game.
Any and all Michael Jordan tie-ins welcome.
Yeah, certainly in this city.
Benesh will try and go on 2, gets a reset out of it, back set. Miles Partain, the youngster, just 22 years old, left college early, still had eligibility, was still a reigning All-American for UCLA, and John Spar, the national team coach, decided to focus on beach full time. Alongside Andy Benesh, the elder statesman out of USC. Benesh checking in at 29 years old. The former middle blocker laces it down the middle. Crabb hits another winner to the back line.
Tremendous pass set combination on the side of the Taylors.
That's a tough serve. That was, he dialed that up. So yeah, I agree. That was a great pass by Taylor.
Throwing shoes and high socks. Word has it from our buddy Dane Blanton. He said that Mike Fitzgerald of Pepperdine used to wear shoes on the beach in the 90s due to a foot injury that he had had previously. Apparently that was a regular thing. I don't think Ta.Crabb's looking to make this regular, but his play has been very regular. He's been unaffected.
With apologies to Mike, slightly less memorable than Ta.Crabb's in the world of beach volleyball.
True story. Partain and Benesh have yet to lose a set in this tournament.
You see how high that ball goes above the tape? That's not ideal. That's not what we're looking for in a jump serve. We want that jump serve to be as fast as possible, as low to the tape as possible. I think it speaks to his level of aggression at the moment.
Well, that's April Ross. She's going to be in the league. Upcoming play starts in 2 weeks. And April, I'm wondering who you and Alex would like to be paired with the men's side, because it's one female, one male team in each one of our 8 cities.
Definitely a hot topic, and we've contemplated it a lot. I mean, obviously all these teams are great. I think I'd like to work with a team that we can collaborate with. You know,
okay.
A team where you can coach a little bit, who maybe can offer us some insights as well. I want to play with someone who feels like a real team. So I don't know. I think Trevor and Theo would be a great team to be paired with. Also, either one of these teams would be great. So not least of all because they're both in the finals.
So you're looking for one of the Crabb brothers and some excellence. Understood. Very good. That ball all the way to the corner and in. You saw the road for Crabb and Sander to get here. Benesh and Partain, undefeated, have played minimal volleyball here in Chicago. On the other side, it was 4 victories yesterday after a first-round loss for Taylor and Taylor. Rich, do you think that comes into effect here in this match here, Championship Sunday?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just because, you know, I think everybody, this is where they want to be in the finals. You know, this is your last match either way, and so you leave everything you've got out there.
And maybe a good break with the weather. We've had weather cooling over the last 3 days. The hottest day of the week was 96 degrees, but that was Thursday before we got here, and now it's 75 and a light breeze. Beautiful sun.
Kevin waxing poetic about the weather here in Chicago.
Well, you have to understand it's a big deal when you get a nice day in Chicago. As the Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corrigan from Chicago once described it, he said, I come from a place that is a dark basement known as Chicago.
You know, so one thing that's notable is when you're injured and maybe you aren't jumping as high as you normally are, it pulls in all your other senses. You have to rely on everything you have, and I feel like that's what's happening with Taylor right now. Maybe he has better vision. Maybe his contact is a little bit better. It is like the flu game for Michael Jordan. Every time I've had an injury, for some reason, you find a way to make it work.
And I wonder how that affects your partner, too, because I think back to you playing alongside a very injured Carrie Walsh for a long time, and you carrying a massive load at the time, being the best player on the planet for a large stretch there. Did it increase your focus because you knew you had to carry that?
100%, yeah. I knew I had to do everything I could to help her, but at the same time I had a little bit of freedom. Okay, her shoulder's very banged up. Nobody's expecting us to do anything, and so I had that freedom to step in and take control wherever I could. And I started developing my on-two at that point. And I remember we were playing in Long Beach, and I would take every opportunity to go on two. I'm like, oh, this is an effective strategy. Let's keep this.
Freedom and focus for April Ross, hell on earth for everyone else. That ball finds the back line once again. Both sides showing you their court awareness and ability to find the sideline. 6-7, close first set action. It was straight sets. The last time they met, it was Benesh and Partain with the victory, but not without some quite close play in the second. Benesh trying to get it going from the line, clips the tape. Partner underneath it, and a little more aggression from Sander.
I do appreciate that about Taylor Sander. He shows no lack of aggression.
Certainly if a ball's teed up right on the net with no block, he is going to annihilate it.
Benesh and Partain defeated Chicago's own David Wazorek 2-0 in the first. They've gone 2-0 entirely through, including a win over TNT in the semifinal. That ball is blocked. Here comes a moment of Crabb and Sander. That's 6'4" and 6'9", Rich, at the net, but maybe not as much of a disadvantage as that size differential would suggest.
Certainly not. I mean, with the jumping ability of Taylor Sander, talked to him a little bit before this match, and he's going intentionally to a little bit of swing blocking. He feels like it helps his vision because he remains focused on the hitter longer.
Good history of smaller players playing big. Anthony Edwards, perhaps, according to the internet, another Michael Jordan tie-in.
Muggsy Bogues.
Oh, you're going 5'3" now? How short do you think Sander and Crabb are? 8-8 first set action. Playing a 21 win by 2 for the first two. It's best 2 of 3. If we go to a third set as we did with the women, it'll be played a 15 win by 2. And there's a block from the big man, Andy Benesh.
From here, it looked like he was lined up in Taylor's line and then dropped his inside hand and got that angle hit. It's a great block.
Fight on, April Ross. Andy Benesh out of USC. Partain, almost an identical serve. And April Ross, a stressed reaction.
Trying not to cringe too hard. I know he's capable of more. I just want to go down there and help him.
Do you think that's a toss issue, or do you think he's just trying to curl that in to give his defense a chance?
I think he's coming in too soon. So you got to toss the ball, be patient, see your toss, and then go get it. He's tossing and rushing underneath it, and then he's hitting the ball as it's on top of him, and he can't drive it forward as much as I would hope.
Partain with an opportunity taken.
Doing a good pickup on the cut shot to start that off for Partain and Benesh.
I've been really impressed with Miles's defense. His moves, his balance, reading ability.
Little 4-1 run for Benesh and Partain, trying to take us to the technical timeout with a 5-1. Tight to the net, that one chipped over the top, and it'll be 11-10 in our first technical timeout. Each of the first 2 sets will have a technical. When the scores add up to 21, teams get a chance to take a break. And we will be back to the shores of Oak Street Beach along Lake Michigan for more of this men's final. We're halfway through set 1. Thanks for being with us here on the CW.
Yeah, baby, that is right. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be happier to be right here, right now. We're in Austin, Dallas, Texas, for San Diego. Get involved and have a reaction out here.
We're in Chicago, concluding the Heritage Series and leading to the AVP League run. This entire fall, you want it to feel like summer. This man has got you covered. Bobby Corvino, our AVP League commissioner, can oversee the placement of teams into city squads. Coming up this week, we'll have the announcement of who is where, who is paired up with whom. Does April Roche get her wish? Does she get her first draft pick, her second draft pick? Here is the field on the men's side. The legend Philip Dalhauser making his way into the league alongside former national team player Paul Lotman, along with a host of other young talent, Cody Caldwell, Sean Cook, an exciting pair. And Taylor are going to be there as well. Ta.Crabb serves, and that one stays on top of the tape out of our technical timeout.
It really wanted to triple over. 12-10.
AVP League going to start in Los Angeles in 2 weeks' time. There'll be 9 weeks of play with our league championship being the 9th back in LA. All over the place. Dallas, Austin, Miami, Palm Beach. Come out and see us. Oceanside, San Diego. You have lots of opportunities to get that summer vibe in October, November. All right, Rich Lamborn, you've been in the box with this pair before. You've coached them. You've analyzed a match. You've had it all in front of you. Where do you go? Who do you serve? What strategy do you want to put out on the sand?
Well, I think
how about
that
serving?
right there, yeah, we got to keep it in, of course, but you want to give Sander a little bit of a green light.
Okay.
And I think first and foremost, you want him to hit his best serve. If he's hitting his best serve, it doesn't necessarily matter which way it goes. You just want him to hit that thing hard, hit it in the court, cause some problems for the opponent.
Yeah, when he's got his serve going, it is by far the hardest one on the beach.
Big dig by Miles Partain, trying to convert it and trying to snap it over the top. Just did not get crisp contact.
That's when it comes in handy to be a little shorter as a blocker.
Okay.
Also, a shorter blocker can be more deceptive. For a hitter, you can't see them as well, and if they make really fast late moves, they can trap a hitter into doing some stuff that's easier to block.
We just saw Brandie Wilkerson pick up some swats as that ball goes through and then back off the defense. Brandie Wilkerson, smaller at 5'11" for a blocker worldwide, for sure, the Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah, I think the same thing goes into play for her. She can squat down really low, stay out of the hitter's eyesight, and then make late moves that they're not expecting.
Wilkerson and Humana-Paredes are Chicago Open champions. The match played right before this one. Thanks for being with us here on CW. Our championship finals, both men's and women's, here from Oak Street Beach. Oh, that ball pushed and then pushed to the corner. A lot of movement going on, Rich. They're trying to get out from in front of 6'9".
Yeah, I don't know that that was completely intentional. The pass just got a little bit left, but they made the adjustment from there to keep that spacing nicely.
Working on Benesh. And the opportunity taken by Partain off the bad pass. It was very interesting last time they played. It was kind of one set where Ta.Crabb struggled and another set where Taylor Sanders struggled. Thus far in this one, offensively, it really hasn't been a struggle for either side, both hitting 467. Benesh is hitting 0, but that's because he has almost no attempts. They've kept the ball away from him, including here, in fact, outside of the playing area.
Yeah, I think Miles and Andy are definitely winning the passing and the serving battle at the moment.
Okay, so if it's 16-13, you're trailing by 3, but you've been focusing on Benesh. Do you go to Partain?
I think, like Rich said, you got to give Taylor Sander the green light to serve his best serve. He needs to go corner to corner, give himself the most area to hit. And then Taylor's got to serve strategically. I don't know if there's a better option, Miles versus Andy, but maybe some short serves, maybe some middle serves, make them battle over it in the middle.
Yeah, spot serving. I had it backwards. Sorry, I mean, Partain's been getting the majority of the opportunities here. 12 attempts to Andy's 3.
Yeah, I think they've both been siding out pretty well, so just making them move a little bit more.
Here they do go to Benesh. And don't get him there. 17-14.
It's a good opportunity, though.
Yeah,
Sander made a nice move into that angle, right? Got a lot of wood on it, but turns out it's hard to block.
If you're being super technical, you can see when he dives so far, his right arm is coming off the net. And so Andy's hitting that right arm, and it's ricocheting out of bounds. If he can keep his shoulders more parallel to the net, maybe that gets blocked.
And diving, Partain gets it, sprinting from far, and then putting it away middle. There's what all the excitement is surrounding the future of Miles Partain.
That was a great play by Miles. Super dynamic, but you can also tell that Ta.Crabb is not feeling it as much. He's not as mobile as he normally is. He's usually laying out for that ball. So I do think I'm buying it a little bit more that maybe he is injured under those shoes.
All right.
The podiatrist said it is a floating bone fracture in the foot.
Ooh, that sounds painful.
Yeah.
Taylor Sander might want to do a little bit more of this on 2.
And he can. He's so athletic. I feel like he needs to take those opportunities as much as possible.
Partain short, jump set executed and put away. Andy and Miles have adopted some of those strategies we've seen to take the world by storm.
We saw that swing blocking be very effective in the semifinal match that Taylor and Taylor played earlier this morning, but as of yet, not getting a ton of traction against Andy and Miles here.
Service not getting a ton of traction, but they'll score on that one. There's 0 aces in this match thus far. Set point upcoming. Benesh and Partain, one of the least emotional teams you'll find out here on the sand.
They are all business, which you have to appreciate.
I don't have to, April.
I mean, they do well.
They do.
They have their vibe.
They have some volleyball
You have to respect
excellence.
it.
That's true. That is true. That ball over pass cannot be picked up. And it takes just one opportunity for Benesh and Partain to close it. They've won 9 straight sets. They are completely undefeated here in Chicago and looking for another title. They're +6 in the first. It's up to Crabb and Sander to respond. Can the Taylors come back, or is it going to be more of the big man? And then the Windy City Championship.
I see horses.
Our stadium court, sheltered from the wind, our men's championship final. Coming into set number 2, Kevin Barnett alongside Rich Lamborn and April Ross, both Olympic champions. And there is two-time champion in Chicago, Ta.Crabb, enjoying the final. Local illusionist Troy Field behind him, mimicking a push. And why is that, Rich Lamborn? Yesterday's festivities?
There was a little bit of contact physically yesterday. You see it there. Lest you thought beach volleyball was not a physical sport.
Chase Budinger had enough of the chatter. This was post-match, and Trevor said, yeah, I got you back, and maybe we're even now. That was the most exciting thing to happen in a very long time.
And the cool head of Nick Lucena intervening.
Yes, noted diplomat Nick Lucena, who in his day may or may not have charged up the bleachers. Way back.
Why are we talking about old stuff, Kevin?
Let's talk about the current stuff right here. A 5-1 run for Benesh and Partain to win that first set. Looking for the title here in Chicago. There's finally some rip from the service line. And at the net.
Yeah, that's what you need to see. That's what we need from Taylor if they're going to make a push here in the second set. He's doing exactly as I suggested, corner to corner, giving himself some space and hitting that ball hard.
They've gone to serving Andy Benesh as Miles Partain was unstoppable in the first set. And Benesh proves stoppable here.
He got a pep talk in between sets.
You think Chris Crabb laid into him? Yeah, it's so phenomenal that he's got that heater and then he can roll that short ball short.
Yeah, that's monster block.
Our rainstorm monster block goes to Taylor Sander.
But that's when it's acceptable to take something off the jump, right? Is when you hammer one and then you make it look the same, but you drop it short. Super tough to read.
Trying to go on to is Miles Partain. A rare miss thus far for him in the final. 3-0 the open. We've seen teams take a timeout at 3-0. I don't think it's happening now. Might at 4. Ripping it again. On to Benesh one more time. Same matchup at the net. This time, Benesh puts it down the line. Andy Benesh, very few offensive opportunities in the first.
Yeah, I mean, that is not an easy ball to take across your body with that level of precision from deep in the court. High spinny pass.
See if Miles Partain responds to anything from the line himself. No, same chip shot. Push, throw it back. That looked like an adjustment by Benesh.
That was a nice move by Benesh, and you'd like to see Sander a little more kind of dialed into covering there, right? Just loses focus momentarily.
I also want to see him go on 2. Taylor's obviously hurting a little bit, and that pass was a perfect opportunity for him to detonate on 2, and he's going to have to do that.
Second block for Benesh, but he's been effective at the net in other ways, channeling the ball to his partner. No on 2 here. Same shot, run down. Look who's at the net this time. Oh, bug warning.
I would wager a guess that Ta.Crabb has the best blocking percentage on the beach. Anytime he gets stuck at the net, I swear I see him get a block.
Get Andy Benesh some off or something.
He is uncanny.
Deet would take care of that guy.
Deet?
That ball is wide and gone. This fall, the next generation of WWE superstars will have a new home when NXT moves to the CW, beginning Tuesday, October 1st. Taylor trying to come off the top rope here in the second. 5-2 the open, looking good thus far, and another error there will be 6-2, and now is when you might see a timeout. Andy Benesh has had enough. He needs to take a seat for a minute. You always wonder what happens to a team when they get knocked down. It was 21-15. Crabb and Sander taking the L in the first. They're looking to hand Benesh and Partain their first set defeat of the entire tournament time here in Chicago. Ta.Crabb, dad to Trevor and Taylor. He's going to be the first one to give him some advice. They'll talk it through as we continue to here in Chicago. We appreciate you being with us here on the CW. It has been, as usual, a beautiful event and a great way to end the summer. But this isn't the end, April. This is just the beginning of AVP League. You're about to embark on a very interesting and different kind of event.
Yeah, something we've never seen before. We get to represent different cities around the country and hopefully create some rivalries between them. We get paired up with a men's team. It's going to be really exciting, and I'm so grateful that Alex and I have more opportunity to play. We haven't played very much this summer. Could be our farewell tour. We'll see, but looking forward to it.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the thing, Rich, right? Opportunity for these players on the beach to ply their trade, earn a paycheck, continue to get better.
Absolutely. You talked about maybe a partnership with Ta.Crabb. Are you willing to get physical out there for your team in the league, April?
You know, I could be talked into it. We'll see.
We will let you know if April Ross gets a red card at all, just in team practice during the week.
I will be glad to have Trevor on my side and not chirping at me from the other side.
We wondered if the strategy might change coming out of that first set in which Crabb and Sander stayed on Partain the majority of the time. Here in the second set, they have served Benesh 6 times and scored 5 points. Benesh will do the serving right now. They've been targeting Crabb. That one is going to be a little too far for Andy Benesh to track down.
Might have got there if he had shoes on. Just saying.
Andy Benesh, I mean, showing off the athleticism there, though. He doesn't quite get all the way to that ball, but the movement from the big fella was impressive.
He's definitely picking up some speed.
You might be picking up on some of the team names here scattered around our stadium court. Miami Mayhem, LA Launch. April Ross, we know that Miami Mayhem is your first pick. What's your second pick?
I was actually considering this because it's up on the banner in the stadium. And second pick, I like the New York Nitro.
Okay, a little bit of pop in that for you.
Yeah.
You a Fast and the Furious fan too?
I actually am.
You are? Oh, great. I love it. A little Nuss for April.
Sander, that was a sick cover. Oh, my goodness.
I think I stopped keeping track after maybe the 3rd or 4th movie, but I was pretty into it until then.
Yeah, I think there's 10 now is the full count.
I believe it.
Nice dig out of the net by Andy Benesh and Miles Partain.
Those are heartbreakers if you're the Taylors because you get the shank pass, but Miles Partain, just a beautiful play, getting low enough to get underneath that for a great set.
April, we had this debate yesterday. You may have a good opinion on this. The shadows are starting to creep over Andy Benesh. You see him there. As the sun starts to go behind some of the larger buildings here in downtown Chicago, over the next half an hour, it's going to completely cover the court. Do you like the ball to come from inside the shadow to out or outside to in as that ball is put away outside in by Miles Partain?
To be completely honest, I have never considered that. And it has never made a difference for me. I've never thought anything of the ball coming into or out of the shade. The only thing that matters in situations like this is when the sun is like barely peeking over a building and just gets you in the eye unexpectedly. And sometimes you want to change the lenses on your glasses, right? So you go from maybe a darker shade to a lighter shade to accommodate for both different lights.
All right, we'll see if anybody makes that adjustment here as you see the shadow on the left side of your screen creeping over the Taylors after the side switch. Hey!
Like Ta.Crabb and
9,
April
7.
Ross, you want to get yourself an Oakley sponsorship so that you're free to change those lenses at will.
Oakley has supplied me with every different kind of shade on the planet. It is pretty amazing. I'm equipped for all different situations.
In tough parenting moments, just go rose-colored. Ace serve there.
Yes, exactly. That's it. Yep. That's what Taylor Sander needs to do right there. And he can do that over and over again when he gets in a rhythm.
Well, notably, he's been after it in this set. A marked change from someone. And going into the angle harder this time and a little wide.
Interestingly, Benesh kind of slid towards
that.
the middle.
Yeah, I think he thought he was going to go for the hat trick. One on the sideline, one in the middle, one on the other sideline.
That's called the gib.
Oh, it's called the gib, sorry. Why is it called the Gib?
Well, because every time he served an ace one way, he would go the other direction. I would like to serve the same person, but Jake Gibb would go line and then go the other side.
He would very purposefully do that if he would kind of go, like you just said, sideline, middle, other sideline.
He wasn't a repeat server.
For me, that dates back to Elaine Young's. She would do that to people. She had one of the best jump serves on the beach.
Benesh hard into the angle. Cannot be handled inbounds by Ta.Crabb. 11-8, turned into a little bit of a side-out battle for the moment. Set 2 offense. Benesh and Partain still down 0-8-3. Crabb and Sander at 375. Ta.Crabb getting all the work in those shoes. Benesh doing work on the return. There's an option play.
Partain has been so good defensively. Not only digging the hard driven there, but he's run down some excellent shots.
I don't know if anyone studies the game more than Miles Partain.
An analytical mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know firsthand, but I've heard multiple stories about how dedicated he is to learning about the sport and studying it.
Yeah, you just have one conversation with Miles and you'll understand how analytical he can be about life, not just volleyball. As we hit 12-9, double figures for Partain in digs and in kills. His team up 1-0, but trailing here at the technical 12-9. Taylor's good response, but they're going to have to complete the journey in the second to force a third here on the CW, our championship match. The final one continues. Empty the sand out of your shoes and come on back for more. The Merchandise Mart along the Chicago River. Some of the beautiful sights you can see in this Midwest metropolis. My home city and a beautiful place to spend a 75-degree day in August. It doesn't get any better than this as we tilt over towards Labor Day and the end of the Heritage Series and the beginning of the AVP League. Thanks for being with us here from the Chicago Open. 30 years ago, it all started here. Stadium Court, Oak Street Beach. Excellent response after the first set loss, 21-15. Ta.Crabb, Taylor Sander went down. They've gotten more aggressive and to effect 12-9 here in the second. That ball dug by Crabb. Sander got it. Crabb at the net. Is he 100% still? He would have been, but he didn't.
Oh no!
Tragedy strikes.
It's heartbreaker for the Taylors.
It is always devastating when your opponent makes an error or your partner makes a dig and you're into the net.
Strangely enough, that is just the second dig for Ta.Crabb, to your point, April, about how much the foot may be affecting him.
Yeah, I coincidentally had to play a final with a broken toe one time, and it is not easy.
Partain to dig there. Love to convert this one, and he does. Miles Partain can be ruthlessly efficient at times. So second dig for Ta.Crabb. Partain in double figures himself.
He seems to have an ability to create angles from any angle.
I would say if he has a tendency, it would be that. It's a good one to have.
High line, look at that, a little stab, enough control. Check down winner. Oh, this is why people are so excited about the young man.
That dig is tremendous, but how about the set as well from Andy Benesh?
Our Wilson play of the day will be this dig to transition kill to spearhead a 5-1 run. All of a sudden, here come Benesh and Partain. Look like the Taylors might be able to take control. It has been taken back by the #2 seed. A little bit of a push to the pin there. Partain not one to give up on a play, nearly had it.
Benesh doing such a nice job affecting those shots, though, forcing them to go up and over. It allows Partain to be so patient behind him. You can see he's kind of holding his ground until the shot leaves the hand of Ta.Crabb, and then he makes his move.
Benesh has been the target. He's down below 100 in this set, but he'll add to it there. The amount of times I've seen a jump set from Miles and then a line attack from Andy, I could go on through the tournament with those, pull them up as highlights. Why does he attack lines so much off the jump set?
Well, his tendency, I think that's his favorite swing, is that crossbody swing, first of all, but also it kind of plays into that spacing, right? You get the blocker to kind of pause and then have to chase you.
I also think teams have to have a default defense when they see that happening. So they have a predetermined set play, and a lot of times it's the blocker just stopping early so they're balanced in the angle, and it opens up the line for that hitter to attack.
First lead of the set off another transition from Miles Partain. That was almost a magic casting dig right there. Hands out like a wizard.
That concludes the nerd interlude of the finals, April.
Would you prefer Santa versus Jesus in the original South Park? Would you prefer that? Yaktuki. 14 apiece. Little sand timeout. Chance to wipe the glasses down as the shadows have almost totally eclipsed our stadium court. Just a little bit of sun remaining in the face of Benesh and Partain off to their left side, and that has been a key here. The surface pressure of Sander misses there, 15-14.
Now Sander has to find a way to insert himself in the side out. He can't just continue to set Ta.Crabb. I think he's got to work in some on-twos.
Ripper dug up.
right into your living room, Miles. Oh, yeah.
Not even phased by the chin music there. 9-3 run. Going wild here in the second set. Come on. Chunked that one. It's in anyhow. Andy chasing. Couldn't quite get there.
A full strength Ta.Crabb, I think you'd see getting up and crushing some of these balls, right? Like this is way more than he would ever shoot the ball.
That one off of Crabb. 17-15. Maybe time wasted now for Crabb and Sander to extend this match.
Yeah, they've still got that weapon on their side in the form of Taylor Sanders' serve. Side out here, and he gets to go back at it.
That ball scooped over. Benesh will scramble out of the sand. Tough swing here. And he manufactures it into a point anyway. Fifth place finish at the Olympic Games for this pair, looking for their first AVP Tour victory. They finished second in Manhattan Beach, losing to Ta.Crabb's brother Trevor.
It's just unfortunate how obviously limited Ta.Crabb is right now. This is not the level of play that we're used to seeing from him, but it's because of his injury, 100%.
Yeah, it's finally gotten to him the entire weekend. The Survivor Saturday, as another ball is shanked off sideways. 15-19. Benesh and Partain trying to be kings of Chicago. They'll dine with the Fromans tonight after a victory. Here's the on two you wanted. This will have to be on three. And it'll be into the net. We are to a match point.
It was effective. They got a free ball back.
You would have liked to see Sander take that free ball.
Yeah, exactly.
See you wringing your hands over here.
Stadium on their feet. Benesh goes Ludwig, looking for the score, and throws it back for the win. A dominant performance over a depleted Taylor's, a 14-4 run to win it.
Yeah, absolutely. The midway point, it was 12-9 to the Taylors, and then the second half of the set was all Andy and Miles.
Andy Benesh, one of the more dominant blockers, had 6 blocks the last time these two teams met. Couldn't come out with a victory this time. Andy, the beneficiary of a win. We'll hear from our champions as we wrap up the Chicago Open. Spraying the champagne after this final point. The big man at the net, finishing. A look back at our championship match and what ended up being a perfect performance to Rich Lambourne for Partain and Benesh, undefeated in Chicago.
Yeah, they didn't drop a set. They were dialed in start to finish, and it was really the defensive performance, I thought, from Miles Partain that really shone through brightest in that final.
April Ross, you wanted some aggression. You got it in the second, but Partain and Benesh responded to that.
Yeah, I think they were too solid. They had the advantage, only like staying in the winner's bracket the whole time, and it paid off.
All right, our winners are on the sand with Mark Sherman. The champagne has been sprayed. Let's hear them tell the story.
Miles and Andy, you guys were incredible, especially at the very end of set 2. We got a little tattoo right there. That ball came in so hot, and you dug it absolutely perfectly. What was going on in your head? You were so dialed in at the end.
Well, first of all, we want to thank our sponsor, Clear Street. And then, yeah, that hit was almost every time it hits me, it goes sideways. So I stayed square to the ball and it went up. That's like super rare. So I've never gotten a dig like that, and much less to transition it. It was awesome. So
that was really, really fun to see. You guys locked in there at the end. Andy, you're a champion in Chicago. The league is just a couple of weeks away. Congratulations. Talk about what this whole weekend was like in front of this crowd playing here in Chicago and getting the win.
Yeah, this is my favorite stop around the country. You guys are awesome.
My favorite in the whole world.
Yeah. You guys are awesome to play in front of such a beautiful city, and you guys love volleyball, so it's really cool to play here. And yeah, we were fortunate to make it all the way through the tournament. There's a lot of really talented teams, so you know, I don't think anybody in the world would make a final other than Ta.Crabb with shoes, but he might be the cagiest person in the world. So congrats to them on a great tournament. But yeah, we're just super happy with how we played.
Well, congratulations. It was so much fun to watch y'all in Paris, to get the win in Chicago. We'll see you in the league in just a couple weeks. Miles, Andy, you're champions in Chicago, everybody.
Andy Benesh takes home his 5th AVP title. Miles Partain his 4th, and they will carry momentum into league play. This may be the end of the Heritage Series. This is just the beginning on the women's side. Our broadcast partner here, April Ross, is about to embark on the AVP League. We have our champions, Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson, also qualified there on the women's side. On the men's side, also a top shelf field.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the best teams in the world playing here in the league, and I get to be paired with one of them. I can't wait to find out who it is.
All right, we'll see where you end up. You'll be back on the sand. Rich and I will be back in the booth. We appreciate you being with us here all day on the CW for our finals. Congratulations to the winners, Benesh, Partain, along with Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson. For my broadcast partners, Rich Lambourne and April Ross, I'm Kevin Barnett. We'll see you back out on the sand.